Hmm. Looks like we're already getting disconnected right at the start. We'll see though. If this keeps happening, then I'm gonna try something on the next live stream, not this one. So this is part two of our build update and testing of the Cheetah, my old Cheetah build, which is already on the workshop. For the most part, it still works exactly as I remember it. So you can go ahead and download this already. However, this is very old. This is the original 2815. The only reason I uploaded a new one is because of some changes to the rear axle. It's not a dually anymore. It used to be a dually. And a brake pad change, probably to address the fact that buses overheat way too easily, but I wouldn't know if that's actually the case. Regardless, this is a very old build, but yeah, as we found out last time, it still worked pretty well, pretty much exactly as I remember it. However, ever since I made it, we now have OG Island and these long highways, and that's pretty much where I had to make changes for, which is the FDR to go for a lower FDR. But I don't like it so far. So we're gonna be testing that some more, as well as the suspension. I want to try what happens if I change the suspension. So there's no teleporting there. We can start here. I do have some ideas on how to address these issues that I've created by changing the setup. But first I want to see how this does on the long bridges, which is the main concern. So last time I found out, second gear goes up to 30, third gear goes 50, fourth gear 70, fifth gear 90. So once you're hit 90, you can switch to 6. Looks like the top speed is not bad. This is the slower way though, because Coming from the other direction, we're gonna be a lot faster because of the downhill that we're gonna be going uphill now, or because we're going the opposite way. And yeah, it looks like sixth gear is not tall enough, or at least not as tall as I'd want it to be, because I want to be able to stay on the green zone if possible, but also I don't wanna lower the FDR too much on this transmission, because then our lower gears end up too far apart. We also found out that this bus, at least my setup, which is lifted, cannot use the garages at the speedway. So I'm going here to the oval. Oh yeah, I think they fixed the barriers now. We're in T7, but last time I mentioned the barrier, some of the barriers in the game, well, most of them are bugged. Look fine to me, but uh, first thing I mentioned, the suspension. Since we're just gonna be doing speed tests, we may as well try some things out with the suspension at the same time, such as w- trying to see what happens if we have a stiffer front. Don't want to go too crazy though. Although actually, yeah, let's try going crazy with it. 300%, much stiffer. See what happens. So the effect will be much more noticeable. Dampers is already maxed out. And then I want to pull up my calculator. Here it is. Go to parts. So the original setup was 4.56, but we found, as I mentioned, the top speed is lacking. And right now I have 3.73 and it's still lacking, I would say. I want to be able to stay on the green zone even going through the bridges. And I think it is possible with just 6 gears. But we'll find out if it actually. So I'm thinking we might actually be better off with the this transmission instead. We just have to figure out what FDR we need. Back in the day, we didn't have all these other FDR setups. We had one FDR, and then the next lowest is 2.73, and it just so happens that that is the closest equivalent with the light bus. So I didn't go for this even back then. So I went with the light bus instead. But now I want higher top speed, and we do have these other FDRs we can go for. So let's see, maybe two. Yeah, that's lower than this, which is good. I would say. Let's see what if 2.17 though. Yeah, 2.17 is very similar, so that's probably not what I'm looking for. We might have to go with 1.8. However, I'm looking at this. Actually, I might even want 1.56. Mm. Yeah, I'm looking at this compared to the light bus transmission on a higher gear, and it does look okay. So that might be it. 1.56, very low. You can only go to 1.33 and 1. If for some reason we still want to go even lower, which I doubt, we might end up with 1.8, but for now, let's see this. Oh, that acceleration. It is higher than the second gear though. Huh, interesting. I would have expected better acceleration on first. Yeah, so that goes up to 40, not 50. So yeah, it is more torque than the 3.73 setup. And then 70. And we are staying on the green despite the gears being very far apart because of the very low FDR. And that's partially because the fact that we changed to the. Oh wait, did I change? I might not have. Also, I want to put a campy there. I forgot to put down a campy, so let's go back. That might be why the acceleration on first is horrible. No, that can't be it. We'll see. I think I forgot to change the transmission. I might still be on the light bus transmission, which should have higher FDR. Yeah, this all these speeds feels very wrong for what I was looking for. Also, I'm not liking the stiff front already, but we're gonna see. That's good. Uh, yeah, I didn't change this. That's why. So now our first gear should accelerate better. Yep, there we go. Goes up to 20. Look like second is 35. Then 60. Wait, let me refresh this thing. Oh, and I didn't put a campy still. Dang it. Also, another advantage now that we have Low FTR is our reverse gear, yeah, much better. Also, I need to pick up a comfort passenger for the suspension test. Hopefully there are passengers here at Ansan. There's usually just a few, if mm, if there even is any. Which I'm gonna need a custom rock for. Looks like there is. Good. And because these are blue, that means you need the terminal to make sure that you can pick them up. Otherwise, you may not be able to pick them up. Did I set it up correctly? Yep. Alright. Oh, he's not a comfort passenger. Hopefully we get a comfort one. Don't see anyone here. Yeah, there's no one. I'm hitting the red zone, even though I'm in comfort. Just barely, though. Oh yeah, we don't need a comfort passenger. We have the comfort meter even without a comfort passenger. And that's the one I'm looking for anyway, so that's good, because we didn't get any comfort passenger. And yeah, it's already looking like stiffening the front is a bad idea, because I'm already hitting the red zone in comfort mode. Am I still on 60%? Maybe that's why. No, it's back to 50 now. Oh, can't make that. What's that? An ambulance passenger floating on the road. Just some multiplayer desync. So our Gear 5 is able to go up to 130 and more. But I think, yeah, we should be using 6 now. Oh, it looks like, yeah, I went too low. Yeah, I'm not even close to reaching the top of the green zone. But let's see what happens. I think we're gonna top out at 155. If I can keep it straight. Just really hard with the mouse steering. Oh, we're going 156 now. Regardless, this is way too low. We should be able to hit the upper part of the green zone at the very least. And then, yeah, we're leaving tire marks like that when we put in sport mode. That was good. I was expecting that to be too low of an FDR. Unfortunately, we don't have many FDR choices, so we have to go straight up to 1.8. Because 1.56 did look pretty good, just not quite, at least not the final gear. The other gears seemed really good. So let's try an even softer suspension than before. Let's see what happens now. That suspension compression looked pretty good. Also, there's no passengers here. Is that a passenger? Nope, that's just the sticker. I don't think the comfort meter shows up if there's no passenger. Oh, hello, Harold. There we go, a passenger. Oh, someone's in the voice chat as well. Hello, Baxim. I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch right now. I don't have Discord audio on the stream though, so would you like to be included in the stream? Alright. Not on... It's not released, but it's available to the public. So you just have to select the test branch. What do you think of my lights, Harold? I didn't really change much. It's pretty much just the same roof lights as the default, other than a couple more towards the at the front and at the front sides. I just put it on to make them bigger to match the other lights on the bus and so that I can set the light modes on them. Oh, I do have the turn signals on the rear as well, I guess. I'm just testing my build. My live stream is titled Build Update and Testing because I have a really old Cheetah build that still works pretty well. I actually live streamed the other day as well, testing this. So this is part two already. I think I found the perfect FDR now. 160, can we hit 160? We can, 160.1. It also looks like the softer front suspension is better. Like it didn't get close to the red zone, although I'll have to try in sport mode. Yeah, I really like this setup so far. The gearing at least. Let's try this again, but the other way around. I think we can shift up, yep, 115. Maybe even at 110 is good enough. I think the reason I only had 80% on this bus at the front is because when I made this, we didn't have the 50% option, if I remember correctly. I think we had the 80% for longer than the 50% option. So we can go 150 on a flat. Oh, that does not look very good on sport mode, but that is sport mode. Also, I should have put the stronger brake pads actually. I forgot that that's an option that we tested the other day, and we were able to maintain the comfort on a flat surface, hard full braking, full power. So if this holds up, this might be better. Kind of looks like the softer front suspension is better. You mean my car calculator? What was it? The brake pads? No, brake power. I want to see if I can still brake without losing comfort on full braking. Yes, we can. I think the rear needs to stay at 80% though, because if I change that, I'm gonna have to adjust the height as well. Because that is really close to my drive axle, whereas the front doesn't really matter too much, the height. It has very little effect. I don't even think it changes the height. Let's actually have a look at that. Actually, how do we look at that? I guess I'm gonna have to temporarily change these so I can have a look. So let's put 80 and see what happens. Yes, if I click on it. Oh, it's becoming taller. Well, yeah, that is what I was expecting. To become taller when it's 50. So that's actually good because I did want the front higher anyway. In fact, I have it higher already on the height 1084. However, that does mean that the rear is kinda lower because the front is pushing up, which pushes down on the rear. So maybe it is worth it to change the rear spring as well to be 50. I kinda doubt it. Let's see. It will have other benefits to the setup if this works. Kinda look like it got worse, but maybe it's not. So let's go faster on the highway, on the bridge, and see if we can still maintain the comfort. Speaking of benefits, there it is. I think I can turn more now. Well, not turn more. Actually, yeah, that's true as well. I think now that I softened the front, the turning is better. Like I have more oversteer. I don't think we can call it oversteer. But yeah, the bus has an easier time turning now, I feel. And We can do higher angle drifts before we lose comfort. That's the idea behind the build anyway, which supposedly is improved by the softening of the front and rear springs, but
Oh man.
we'll see. I'll do some more testing for that. For now, I want to see whether it's gonna lose comfort on a flat ground at high speed, full braking. So let's go here and get some speed. I need to pay attention to my gearing as well, but I think it is already very good. Good enough that I'm not paying attention to it anymore. Don't need to go too fast. I just want the extra speed from this downhill. Yeah, 150.
Be careful.
Oh, we do lose our comfort. Hmm. So I'm gonna try going back to the 80%, to the original suspension setup, and see if that can even do this. Full stop at 150 kilometers per hour. Because I don't think I've tested that last time. I did some high-speed braking, but not quite that high speed, I don't think. Also, I'm keeping the light attachments to actual light attachments now, because I'm expecting other customizations like what modders have now to come later. And that's why I ended up with this light setup on this thing. So let's go back. 80. I even adjusted this thing to help reduce the braking of the rear axle so that on full braking, the brakes are not as effective, but somehow we still lost comfort. So maybe it's just not possible to maintain comfort when you're braking that hard from that speed. Maybe I should have went with +2 though, but that's why we're doing testing. We'll figure out something. If it's not possible, We'll just have to settle for a compromise. If it is possible, we'll figure out how to make it possible.
Oh.
I already lost comfort there. I was only going 100, so this is not looking good. But let's go the full 150 before we change things out. Might actually want a slightly higher FDR still, but the options are so few. They're very spaced out. So I'm thinking if I do go for a higher FDR, it's gonna be too high. But we'll figure something out. I'm not 150 yet, but this should be good enough.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're still losing comfort. Hmm. I don't like the idea of raising the rear axle some more. Maybe what I should actually do is make it stiffer. So let's try. Yeah, the next one is 2, which I'm not. It's not that much different than. Oh wait, that's minibus. It's still lower than this, and then it's higher here, which is exactly what I'm looking for, and then higher here, but then lower on the rest of the gears. What if I go double the stiffness on the rear? Since I stiffened it, I probably don't need to adjust the height. And now that I've done that, let's go with the softer front again. Because those will have similar effect of reducing the rear braking. I don't have to test them separately. And yeah, the steering does feel better once again now that I have the softer front. If I can wrap this up quickly, I have other things I want to test. So I don't want to spend too much time on this if I can avoid it. Yeah, this feels so much better than when I had the stiff 300% fronts.
Oh.
Still lost comfort. I'm gonna try something extreme to make just to confirm if it even is possible, which is I guess we can go with the negative height on the rear axle, just completely remove it from the equation, make it a lifted axle, see if that does anything. Because if that even that doesn't work, then I know that what I'm trying to do is not possible, so I can move on after that.
Oh man.
It doesn't look like it's lifted. It is off the ground, but I would like it to be higher up if I can. Okay, stiffening it made it higher. Actually, I'm not opposed to the idea of actually making it a lifted axle. So if this works really well, which I doubt, then I might just go. No, if this works really well, then that means I can figure something out that's not like this, but if it just barely works, then I'll just have to go with this. Because that means there's not much room for me to experiment with. Not quite -10 height, but having it not touching the ground at the very least. Which actually, yeah, now that I think about it, it probably will be -10 height. Actually, no, because it was lifted even with 80% stiffness. Oh wait, no, it wasn't at 80%. It was at 150, and it was lifted at 150. The drive axle is 500, so 150 is actually fine. I might even want 200, because I'm lifting it anyways. I want it to be still. But I'm gonna have to do some testing with that before I decide. Because I don't think it's a good idea to make it too still.
Be careful.
Yeah, that doesn't work, even when it's lifted. So full braking is just not possible. So we can move on to testing what to do with this lifted axle then. What kind of testing can we do? And where can we do it? Oh, we can test it at the slopes of Gangzhou in downtown. First, let's figure out what setting we even want. I'm thinking having it stock. Oh, that's touching the ground, it looks like, but just barely, which is not good enough. I want it to actually be visibly lifted, like that. So let's go to Grandjean. I guess we should refuel first. And we have the slope right here at the gas station. And we scrape the slope. So I actually want to raise the drive axle because we can do that. Actually, no, this is not the kind of test that I need. I need a more sudden elevation change, like a bump. Is this something I can use? No, that's not quite. Oh, over there looks good, maybe. Actually, no, that's a ramp. That's gonna work similarly, and there's not even enough space for me. Yeah, I can't even use this for testing. There's not enough space. Hmm. Oh, I know. We can use the bump stops on the parking lots at the dealership. Also, now that I think about it, I might actually want the rear axle to still be touching the ground even by just a little bit. There's our 1 hour reminder. The stream has been running for an hour now. Which one is lined up with the garage? Can't tell. Like this one on my right is lined up. Yeah, because the front is very soft already. So I actually think I want the rear to touch. Since the front is softer, I can go with a higher rear now, which means that even though I softened the rear, it's still not touching anymore. So I need to increase that to -9. That's not touching still. That looks like it's still floating. It has to be -7. I think I could have went with -8 because it didn't look different on -7. And -7 is what I have now, and it is touching. Oh, that's actually looking like the perfect height. Oh yeah, I could have used this to see if it's touching. Oh, that doesn't look stiff enough. I want it to provide some support when it's being compressed. So to help prevent the rear from bottoming out. So it looks like we have to go something stiffer, which I think means that I need to raise it up again. -6. Still not touching. No? Is it that high? It is quite high. Okay, now it is. Looks like it's still too soft. Yeah, it shouldn't compress like that. What's the weight thing? Since I'm gonna stiffen it, probably need the stock height now. Oh, I'm sideways. Still very soft. That's unexpected. I would have thought since we only have two rear axles, if I double the stiffness on one of them, can lift the bus. But it's not really lifting. It's lifted again now because it's very stiff. So I'm gonna have to go positive on the height on it now. There we go. Okay, that does look good enough, I think. Hmm, nah. Well, my drive axle is completely lifted in this situation. So actually, this might be what I'm looking for. Yeah, this might be what I'm looking for, but I'm gonna try something stiffer. Also, let's remove the brake power increase now before I forget. It's already 300% though. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know if I prefer the 300 or the 400. Also, now that I increased the height on the rear, I can actually soften this. Oh, and because I stiffened the rear, I want to soften the roll bar on it. And also increase the dampers on it. And then because I softened the drive axle, I need to reduce the height on that. Oh, it's on 0 now? Just barely touching, which is actually what I'm looking for, because we are empty right now. Once we have passengers, there's gotta be more weight. Oh yeah, oh no, this does have a change in which, because my drive axle is softer, it can decompress more. So it's not touching the ground right now. Yeah, if I brake, it's not touching, but if I accelerate, this the very slight weight shift on the rear under acceleration causes it to touch. And I think that's it. Actually, the front damper doesn't have to be this much now because I reduced the stiffness on it. I think 80, it used to be 80, 500 damper on 80 is, let's do some quick math, is 0.16. So it needs to be 300 to get the same damping ratio. And I think that's it. Actually, let's try it in sport mode now that I removed the upgraded brake force. and see if we can do a full braking at high speed. Oh, I don't have passengers though. Um, where are the bus stops here? I don't think there's one. There's one behind me though. I need that one. There we go. A couple of passengers.
Hello.
Let's try the start from second gear. Not good, but what's our speed? Up to 28? No, third 29. Though you really should do it at 30, which is similar to, yeah, 30, 50. That's similar to the 3.73 light bus transmission. But then our fourth gear can go higher than 70, almost 80. So we're on flat ground. Yep, not even really hitting the red zone. It is blinking red, but that's just because it's touching the edge of it, the red zone. So I think that's it. What else was I thinking about? Oh yeah, the ratios. Let's compare. We have two now. Yeah, this is very similar to before. And then this was not an ideal gear before. So the 8.26 being higher is an improvement. And then we go lower here. Yeah, this is just better overall now. So the light bus is good for builds that are for the Jeju Island only, but for builds that want the increased top speed, then this is what the other transmission is for. I always thought the fact that the light bus is lighter and has better ratios for Jeju Island was just the better choice, but now that we have OG Island and the long highways, there's actually a use for this now. And that's why we have it on this bus. So I think this is good enough to upload. Well, let's have a look at the stuff. see if we actually. I don't think we changed anything, but let's have a look anyways. So that's same engine. I changed the transmission and the FDR, the radiator. Yeah, now that we have really high top speed on our sixth and fifth gear, we really don't need a strong radiator because you're not gonna overheat. Yeah, everything else is the same. Oh, the brake pads. I had upgraded brake pads. No, I have it right now. Yeah, it's saying that I have the upgraded and then it should revert to stock, which, yeah, you really should just use the stock brakes. And then I have softer everything except the rear axle, which I stiffened because it has a different purpose now. And then this, wait, yeah, less dampers at the front, but where's the rear? Why does it not say the rear dampers? And then, yeah, I changed the height. Though actually, I'm thinking I do want to increase the rear axle by just one. So that even without passengers, it's actually properly touching the ground. And let's look at the damper. Yeah, I have 500 here, but it's not even showing in the workshop. Yeah, that's touching. Point 0.3. Oh, this is the bug, one of the bug reports that I made. If your build at the workshop has the stock part, then it doesn't change it. Try to change it. So let's actually see what happens here. If I if I check the dampers, it should give me 500, 500 on the front and the drive axle, and then stock dampers on the rear because that's what I have on the build that I'm downloading. However, it's not saying that. It's it should say that my 500 dampers on the rear changes to stock. So I'm thinking it doesn't change it. Yeah, it kept the 500 dampers on the rear. This is the issue with the workshop that I have on my report. It should have removed these dampers, but it doesn't recognize that because it's not a part. It's not, there's no 100% part. That report is so old that I don't even remember exactly how it works, but now that I encountered it again, I was thinking earlier on what to write on it to remind the dev, hey, this is still broken, but I didn't know exactly how it works anymore. So I ended up not posting anything yet, but there it is. That's the issue with the workshop right now. So let's give this a go. I'm gonna do one lap of Jeju doing this bus route and see, get a feel for the bus. If it feels good, then I'm uploading this already.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, did my front got scraped there? Hmm. Maybe going from +8 on the drive axle to +10 was too much. 'Cause I set that specifically to avoid bottoming out on stuff, but that road is that I just went through is pretty bad, so I don't think that's a good enough test,
Be
but
careful.
we'll see. I might have to lower both the rear axles by one. Oh yeah, I haven't tested the uphill start from second. Should be very similar because the ratios of our second gear is similar to the one I've tested before. Oh, and here's the one of the bumps that I test on. Oh, we overshot it by a lot. I think I need to increase the height of the rear axle because the braking is way too ineffective now. Maybe I'm just expecting too much. Let's try going in sport mode for the stronger braking. So we have a comparison point for when I change the rear axle height. Don't really have a way to change the braking until I get to Gujua. Well, not the braking, the suspension.
Oh.
Gosh.
Also, I'm feeling like it was a mistake to go soften the drive axle now. Even with the softer front and less anti-roll on the rear axle, it's not really feeling
Hello?
like enough of a compensation for the loss of stiffness on the drive axle. So that's one more thing to change. Let's try going back to comfort. There is a 2.11 FPR if I remember correctly. I might want to go for that because we do still have plenty of top speed. Yeah, this braking is horrible now. The whole idea with the old setup was
Very much.
consistent braking. Yeah, now that I think about it, all the changes that I made kind of stacked up and removed that benefit. So FDR, oh, it's 2.17. Yeah, I think that's close enough. Oh, that puts us right next to the, yeah, that's gonna give us the same top speed as before. So that's a no. Let's put the stiff spring back. And I went too far on the stiffness. Because I could have, instead of stiffening the rear, I could have increased the height on it to give a similar effect without affecting the braking. Because it was just way too soft, though, that's my issue. So, I think, let me try to see the old weight distribution and work from that. So this thing is 2 tons on the rear. What about now? Yeah, that's less. And the spring is stiffer. Well, that's because I increased the right height of the rear. I should probably increase that as well before checking. Yeah, it's still less, but what happens if I soften it? Yeah, there's more now. And I know I can go for more, but because I softened the front, I don't need the rear to be 80 below the stock softness anymore, I think. Or do I actually need it softer as well? So when I'm braking, yeah, actually, I think it is supposed to be softer. 2.1. Also, actually, I want to try the 2.17 despite the small difference in top speed, 291, 289, and then just see what happens once we're on back on the long bridge. I think that's it. There's slightly more weight on the rear now, but also I increased the height of the drive axle. So actually, I think I should increase the rear some more, especially because the front is softer. Oh, I didn't change dampers. I don't need this much damping anymore. So with the softer rear, we're actually doing better off-road now, despite the very stiff drive axle. Let me take a screenshot of this hole on the ground. I can report it. Oh, there's another hole on the ground somewhere in front of me. Don't remember where exactly it is. Oh, and the light's coming up. I will need to take a screenshot before the sunlight goes up. There it is. I'm too close. Alright, that's good enough. Would have looked better, more convincing if it was darker, but the sunrise is so fast in this server. I can always take another screenshot at a different time, but at least I now have a screenshot to remind me about it. Yeah, so far I'm really liking the softer
Hello.
front. So let's take a detour here. See if our 2.17 FDR still good enough or if we have to go back to 2 FDR. Yep, I think we need to go back to 2 FDR. Oh, that robot just glitched out. Hopefully, our next bus stop is back there, so let's turn around here. The braking is pretty strong in sport mode. Maybe I should go back to 80% rear spring. Also, I went back to 500 stiffness on the drive axle, so I should have lowered the drive axle again. Well, both rear axles. Oh, there's our 2 hour reminder, so I should be close to finishing this, which, yeah, I only have a few things that I want to do. I'm not gonna turn right here. I'm gonna go back to the highway and do the last few tests. So we're actually gonna do the full bridge now, because last time we were just starting from Ansan, but this time we're starting from here at the very start of the bridge. So I'm expecting to see more than 160 kilometers per hour this time, unless we have body damage, which I think I do have some. So that's gonna increase our drag and possibly prevent us from hitting 160, but what I care more about is the gearing anyway, not hitting as high top speed as we can. Oh, what happened? The server went down? Oh, there's an update? Are we updating? I didn't see anything in chat. Yeah, I think the server is down. Yep, they're restarting. So we're not doing the full bridge, I guess. Oh, that means I need to update. So I should just, yeah, I won't be able to join back because they're gonna be on the latest update. So I just have to go to single player for now. Yeah, so it's 150 on the green zone, which is plenty of speed already. Because ideally I would even increase the FDR, but then that's gonna reduce the top speed. So I'm not gonna lower the FDR just to increase the top speed. Oh, we're hitting more than 160 now. Come on, 62.6. We got faster than last time. So another reason I came here is these steep roads. So 7.15 is released to the public now. That's the thing that I was looking at. And that's why TWL restarted. They're updating to the public version. I wonder what the last updates are though, before the release. Or if that they just released the the current build of T7. I don't think they just released T7 to the public. I think there's more changes. Alright, we're here at the very steep road. Let's see how our second gear does. Very slowly, but goes up. What about the first? Yeah, I think even with this low FDR, There's no need for the first gear ever because it's so short and the time to shift to second is so long that even though it's not ideal to start in second on an uphill, it's still better than starting in first. There's not really that many steep roads anyway, so where do I want to go? I guess the bus dealership. Let's have a look at this again. Oh yeah, the brake pads got changed because I downloaded the old build. Let's go through this again. Stock radiator because we don't need to upgrade. Not the light bus transmission anymore. 2 FDR. Yeah, this is the my most recommended LSD event for this thing. I would say stock brake T250. Actually, yeah, let's keep the 50 on the rear. I was thinking of changing this to 80, but actually, yeah, I think overall the software is better. And then I softened the front dampers, which on this bus doesn't really change very much. You might even be fine with stock dampers, but oh yeah, because I went back to 500 stiffness on the rear, I want to lower this again. Then our tires are the default, to the wheels. There's nothing here. So we have to adjust. Yeah, this is 2.4 now. Which I actually think, yeah, this is 2.4 is perfectly fine because the suspension is soft. But that is a big difference though from the point plus 4. Let's see what happens at plus 4. Oh yeah, because it is softer. So yeah, we're we're still keeping the same height as before. I was thinking backwards on the height with the stiffness. But yeah, when you go softer, it's more loose. So depending on your just weight distribution, that kind of gives more height or it takes more of the weight, which is what happened. So instead of 2.1, we now have 2.2. But because it is softer, that is still okay to have it increase like that. And I think that's it. We went through all the parts. We tested variations. We we found the limits and we found what changes are bad. And from elimination process of elimination, we found out that this is the ideal setup, I would say. You know, we're still using the original height because it is already perfect. There's no need to change that. Now that I think about it, nah, there's still no point in the spacers. If you want the angle kit, you can put it, but I would say that just makes it harder to control because you now have more per relative to your input. It's gonna steer more, but it doesn't really help you make U-turns and whatnot because you're still limited by the diff and the physics of the vehicle. It's just not easy to make all this weight, all this entire vehicle turn, even if you increase the steering angle. So there it is, 108, 193. 30 decals, although the 20, one of those is for covering up this part of the body paint, and another one is for the wheels. So if you go for the Boco wheels or any other future paintable wheels, the decal is already there. And yep, everything looks good now. Oh, all the lights, all are, it's all square lights. I just realized. Yeah, I didn't use any other light piece. It's all the same square light, just different colors and settings and light modes rather. This thing needs fuel though. I should have refueled. Well, I guess there was no gas station back where I last used it. Oh wait, I can use this one. I think my company, my current setup is supposed to reduce the price of the fuel here. No? What is my truck delivering to then? Yeah, fuel here. Oh, I think I have too many fuel stops. Because you can deliver fuel to the ranch, the factory, and maybe Georgia as well. No, there's no fuel here. And I can't remove the 3 water factory because I do need the containers there, which my tanker has. Yeah, it has that container trailer behind it. Although I guess, no, we still don't have a container lead and rear trailer, but I can attach a second tanker to it. Yeah, I can put the lead tanker before the container trailer. Although I'll have to make those changes after I've made a setup because I need all four. I bought four of all the new vehicles so that I can test the setup much more easily. Speaking of, the next one is gonna be the ambulance, which I have here. You guys can have a preview of my ambulance. Let's change the flashing pattern. I have this setup similar to my rotators, where some of the lights are, some of the blinking lights are assigned to the hazard, to the high beams, and then some are assigned to the turn signal. So there's one on the left, and then there's two on the right. So what you can do is time your hazard with the flashing. So when it's done flashing, you activate the hazard. So we can do like that so that it alternates. So this is alternating with that, this is alternating with that, and this is alternating with that. The front grille also has a similar stripe pattern as the rear. And then something I did not intend to do here is have the emergency text placed on the door so that when you open it, it says emerge. That was not intentional. It just so happens to line up perfectly on the door. Also, the ambulance text here. Well, all the texts are appearing correctly on both sides because that's just one decal. I didn't have to use a bunch of decals for that, which means from the inside it also reads correctly. Although on this side you can't see it because of all the stuff that's there. Oh, and this thing has these surround lights assigned to the interior light for search and rescue off-road. You have that to light up your surroundings. Although it's not very bright. This is it's more for the looks than function, but it works. Just not as well as possible. Because you can have brighter lights than these. The light bars are brighter and the big light bar is the brightest. But I wanted to have the round lamps for this one. In fact, I have other variations of lights around my ambulances. Well, let's not spawn them here. Let's spawn them here. Actually, I do have them here spawned in. Oh, I don't, because I did something with them. Anyway, let's spawn them back in here. So this thing has the square lights around it instead. Although the front, because it's the front, I still put the round lamps. Oh, and this thing has the i4 engine. So this is the same surround lights, but it has the big one, the bigger flashing lights instead. So I'm thinking I might actually replace this with the bigger lamp because it will look like it fits on that one. And this one is a mix between those two, where it has these big lights, big flashing lights on the rear, but on the sides it has the smaller rectangle ones. Anyway, when uploading to the workshop, the lights are not separate, and I don't have a setup for them yet. These are completely stock, except for the one where I changed the engine. And that's what I'll be testing on the next live stream. That's why I came here and decided may as well show it. Oh yeah, you can see the door on the rear view mirror. Even the emergency text from the inside is written correctly. What's our view from the passenger seat though? Oh yeah, you can't see that side. You can't really see behind the seat either. Even though our head is above it, our POV is lower. So you can look through here. In fact, if you use the light menu, you can look through stuff, including stuff around it. So if we zoom out, we can look inside the hospital, which for some reason they haven't made an interior for. Because the police stations do have an interior, the new ones anyway. But I guess they don't have stuff for the hospitals. Yes, also, I don't know what's up with this window. I was thinking of exploring the hospitals for before I start with the ambulance testing, but there's not an interior. Also, the hospital has electric chargers, but for some reason, the police station, which has the Zydro in it, do not have a charger. Anyways, that's it for this stream. I'm out. See ya.